We have finally figured it out. So we've got the factory nav with Grom Android Auto, as you can see. And the issue with the Aristo, here's our VLine, is the factory audio system. So we're talking about the CD changer here and the TV tuner in the trunk. I'll show that in a second. They use an optical audio cable. So this is a proprietary Toyota cable from the early 2000s. It is fiber optic. However, I can't find any information about it. So I don't know if this can be converted to something else, like a TOS link or optical cable, or what. But basically, this is what Toyota uses for the audio in the CD changer. Everything else, Lexus uses this like high-level speaker wire, so they'd have right and left output here, and you tap into that. Let me go look in the trunk. I'll show you what's going on there. Okay, so we have the main amplifier down here, and I think this is like a secondary amplifier. I'm not exactly sure what it does or which part of the system it controls, but here you can see that optical audio link here. That's the cable. So I'm guessing this unit converts this optical signal maybe to analog, possibly, and then it somehow interfaces with the amp, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing because I really don't know. Here is the factory TV tuner. So this mounts up against here, and what this does, I don't know what this USB cable is, like some custom thing that goes into here. I really have no idea what that does. But here you can see another one of those. Well, actually, that's an antenna, not an optical. So yeah, this goes into, there's some wires here for the TV tuner, and that goes into here. Okay, so that makes more sense. So I'm wondering if you can potentially use the TV tuner to tap into for speakers or audio. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I will show you what I did. So the thing is, you can remove, if you remove this, then the TV option on your nav will no longer work, but everything else will work. This, I'm not sure if we remove this what'll happen. I guess we can try that now, just to see. But at some point, I think speaker output from the stereo comes into here for what I'm going to show you next. Alright, so here what we're looking at is the back of the stereo, and down here, this green, white, and red, black out of the stereo is your AM, FM output to the amplifier. So this is what we had to use on the Grom to get it working. As you can see, it's just temporarily tied up here. Here is the Grom adapter that goes into this side of the radio. And I guess on systems that don't have this optical line, this is where it would tie into for audio. So that's how your audio comes through the stereo into the Grom, but obviously we had to bypass it because we don't have this. Our connector up here is just empty. Those wires don't exist. So right now I have our audio for the Grom going here, and everything is flipped, of course. Like the US wiring is like black, red, and then white, green, I think. But the way we have it up now is correct. We've got the Grom right side is technically passenger side on the left-hand drive car, which is driver's side on the right-hand drive car, would be these gray wires. So you've got positive green, negative white, and then positive black, negative red. And I tested it with a left-right audio channel video tester, and it works good. The only problem, it's about half as loud as it should be compared to like a CD or the disc option or anything else. It's, you can turn it all the way up and it's like halfway. So that's something I have to explore. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's just that's how it is, limited in the amp for AM FM. So I removed that cable and back, and you can see the disc, it doesn't play anymore. So that's part of that whole optical network system. What else can I say about this? Oh, so the TV option. Here's the TV option. If you pushed this, you would have another, like, it actually picks up AM or FM channels in the US. And then there's a converter box. Where did that thing go? Similar to like a Grom, a VLine, this has its own video converter box. So this plugs into the nav, and then it gives you like the white and black TV static on here if you push TV. So obviously none of that works in the US. We got rid of it. So now all our audio is just coming through either AM or FM. So you still hit disc to enable the VLine video, but your audio is going to come through AM or FM. Either of these work. And like I said, I'm going to check just one more time because I don't have any wiring diagrams for the JDM stuff, but I'm going to see if it's possible to use maybe TV for the audio, and then just somehow connect our Grom outputs here in the trunk, or here if there's another. No, I mean that's it. I'd have to figure out where the TV wires are, and it might be, I'll have to look at these, compare this plug here to a US spec plug, because that is different from this. There's extra wires, so I'm thinking potentially these colored wires over here are the TV audio wires that I could also tap into. So I'm going to investigate that, see if the audio is any better or louder. But for now, this is kind of the solution, and we might have to, if such a thing exists, get like a high-level inline amplifier and somehow amplify the signal before it gets to the factory amplifier. So there's a lot going on here. We've got it all figured out. We've got audio, we've got the Grom. Now we just have to amplify the audio signal to get more out of it. So hopefully that makes sense. So to wrap everything up, this is our TV tuner, and then here are your basically left and right channel. So this also does not use an optical. So if you want to tap into the TV tuner for audio, this is how you can do that, because these wires go to the amplifier. Now, as far as the sound level goes on AM FM, I tried, just for comparison's sake, to see if the amplifier potentially limited the AM FM, kind of toned it down, and I used the TV tuner inputs, and the same thing happens. So I think the issue is just the high level AC voltage out of the Grom to here is just not enough. If we could somehow boost that signal, if we can boost this signal coming out of the Grom even just a little bit before it goes into this factory amplifier, I think we'd have a solution, but I haven't been able to find anything that can do that. So, I mean, it works, but like I said, the volume is just not ideal. It's kind of like if you turn it up all the way 100%, you're at like 50% volume. So yes, it works, but it's not as loud as you want it to be. Now the Beatsonic MVA31 is for the August 99 through August of 2005 Aristo head units. So what this does is this goes up to the front of the car, and then these are your left, right, rear inputs or outputs from your aftermarket head unit. So here's your remote wire, and here's all your channels. So your head unit would plug into this, it would go through here, and then it would be put into all these brown wires. It would basically replace your speaker inputs over here. So this is the left and right channel. You can see the green, white, red, black wires from the front of the car. This is what goes into the amplifier, then it's amplified, and then it's sent to the speakers. So I don't know if this can be used or not with the Grom. You know, I don't know if we can put our signal into this, and then this somehow potentially helps amplify it a little bit. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work. I mean, I can try. I'll basically hook up one of these to our speaker wires here, and then hook this up to there, and see if we get any more volume. But I'm not holding my breath on that. And then here's our MVA hooked up. Basically, it just removes this amplifier. I don't know if this is like a preamp or what the heck this is, or if this just is the optical, converts optical and then sends it to the amp. So that's just gone. And then we tap into here, we tap into this one, we spit it out there, and this goes back to the front of the car. So this is not an option for the factory head unit, so we're kind of back to the Grom. The only way this is going to work is with an aftermarket doubled in that, you know, the pre-outs or the lines coming out of the doubled in are powered normally, if that makes sense. Like the factory, you're using the stereo to create that amplified signal of the speaker outputs. So that's a no-go. And just for testing's sake, I have, bear with me, this is the MVA31 kit. This is the wiring from the trunk. Here is our remote wire. So this is hooked up to accessory. And our accessory, we're just using this red wire here. That's turning on the factory amplifier. And then I have just the front right channel here hooked up. So this is from the Grom to the MVA31 unit to the trunk, and it's extremely quiet. So this volume is all the way up and you can barely hear audio. So it's even more quiet than just directly from the VLine to the trunk. Waiting to hear back from Grom. I don't think there's a way that we're going to be able to boost the signal out of their unit. You know, if we could get just a little bit of like 0.3 AC volts more out of these black, white, and gray speaker wires, I mean, that would be probably greatly beneficial, because like I said, we're going basically from this to the amplifier. We're completely bypassing the factory stereo, and you know, the voltage kind of is what it is, and it's not a lot. So that's where we're at. I mean, technically it does work, but not ideal. And I think the only solution at this point would be to install a processor post amplifier. So everything goes in like normal. After the amplifier and before it gets to the speakers, you're gonna have to install a processor which takes whatever the amp spits out and basically flattens it. All the curves are just flat. And then from the processor, you go to an aftermarket amplifier. From an aftermarket amplifier, then you go to all the speakers in the car. That would work. That would be a perfect solution if you want to retain the factory head unit. Or again, we go back to install an aftermarket and then use the MVA31. But the problem is, these are really hard to find, and who knows if you'll be able to find one in the future. And yeah, so that's where we're at. If you have any suggestions, comments, critiques, solutions, let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will bring you more very complicated electronics problems. See ya.